Elizabeth falls from the ramparts. The dress, a silken anchor, drags her into the turquoise sea. And Jack? Jack simply jumps. There's no decision here, only what the body knows before the mind awakens. Like when a child runs toward danger and you're already moving before thought arrives. The heart doesn't consult. The heart just beats. Lao Tzu wrote of water defeating stone, not through force, but through gentle persistence. Jack never read these words. Yet watch. His boat sinks in the opening scene. Where others would panic, he synchronizes with the inevitable, steps onto the dock at the exact moment the wood vanishes beneath the waves. No drama, no struggle, just recognition. Everything has its natural rhythm. Wu Wei, the Chinese whispered, the art of acting without forcing. Imprisoned in Port Royal, Jack doesn't try to break the bars. He talks with the guards about the pearl, uses a bone to lure the dog with the keys, not with force, but with patience. When he fails, he accepts. When pirates attack, he uses the cell itself as shield. Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know. Jack speaks constantly, but listen carefully. He never reveals what matters. His words are smoke, his actions, fire. Will Turner lives the opposite of Wu Wei. In the blacksmith shop, every strike against Jack is brute force seeking dominance. Will attacks with classical fencing patterns. Jack responds with the unexpected, throws sand in the eyes, uses chains as weapons, transforms the smithy itself into an ally. When people see some as beautiful, others become ugly. Will sees honor and dishonor. Jack sees only movement and stillness. This is why he wins without winning. Throws dust, strikes the hand holding the sword, makes Will drop it, points the pistol. Done. Just when Will was winning. Later, when he discovers Bootstrap as his father, Will negotiates with Davy Jones, creating 3 new problems for each one he solves, swimming against the current as it strengthens. Elizabeth learns slowly. At the ceremony, she tries to control every detail. The corset that suffocates, the conventions that strangle. The fainting is no accident. It's the body rejecting excess, saying, "Stop pushing against the tide. Begin to dance." You must be the worst pirate I've ever heard of. But you have heard of me. The Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao. Jack understands. Reputation is wind. What matters isn't being the best pirate. It's being remembered. Not through force, but through the impression left behind. Like water shaping stone, not in a day, but across 1,000 tides. Commodore Norrington represents the opposite. Titles, ranks, rigid order. When he loses everything in the second film, he discovers his medals were golden chains. Jack never had medals, so he never needed to lose them to be free. Pirates have codes, rules about loyalty, treasure, conduct. Jack knows the score, improvises eternally. In Tortuga, Giselle and Scarlet, 2 women with reasons to hate him. He doesn't deny, doesn't lie, doesn't fight, accepts the slaps as choreography, transforms aggression into dance. Barbossa is the opposite. Trapped in the curse's rigidity, he becomes literally undead, unable to feel, to adapt, just repeating obsessive patterns like a scratched record through eternity. On Isla de Muerta, Jack negotiates with Barbossa. Not from a position of strength. He's surrounded, unarmed, completely disadvantaged. But he understands what Barbossa forgot. Rigidity is death. Barbossa wants Turner's blood to break the curse. Direct path, straight line. Jack proposes curves. Use Commodore Norrington and his crew as bargaining chips, then the curse itself as advantage, then will. Each move creates 3 possibilities where once there was one. The Tao moves in spirals, never in lines. Take what you can, give nothing back. They say that's the pirate philosophy. But watch Jack at the climax. Surrounded by indestructible immortals, he doesn't try force against force, uses their own curse against them, becomes temporarily cursed to balance the game. The cursed pirates cannot die, cannot feel, cannot quench thirst or hunger. They live, but aren't alive. The Tao that doesn't move is dead. Barbossa and his men became the opposite of Wu Wei. Force without flow, eternity without change. Jack cutting the coin in his palm at the exact moment, tossing it to Will. That's not cheating. It's timing. It's using energy already in the system. It's pure Wu Wei. Chased by soldiers through Port Royal, Jack doesn't run straight, doesn't fight directly. Ropes become extensions of limbs. Sails, trampolines. The ship's sway integrates into choreography. Barrels, cables, masts, temporary allies. This isn't acrobatics for beauty. It's using movement's energy instead of creating friction. Water through mountains, not through violence, through infinite patience. Jack gains more control precisely because he doesn't try to control. Lets things flow through him. In Tortuga, spends time helping Gibbs recruit, shares rum with strangers. Cotton's parrot gets a vote, accepts Anna Maria's slap and takes her in the crew. True treasure lives in the journey, in the freedom to sail, in dancing with the unexpected. The ship matters, but no more than the wisdom of knowing when to release the moorings. Why did Jack save Elizabeth at the beginning? Perhaps because in that moment there was no Jack or Elizabeth, only what needed to happen, happening through them. Like wind doesn't choose to blow, it simply blows. The Tao has no preferences, neither does Jack. That's why he's free. That's why when the executioner asks his name at the gallows, he responds with absurd pride, Captain Jack Sparrow. Not because the title matters, but because if you're going to be anything in this fluid world, why not be captain? Film ends. Jack escapes the gallows, falls from the cliff, emerges from the waters, swims to the waiting Pearl. Will and Elizabeth remain on land, trapped in their new love, their new golden chains. Jack sails toward the horizon, not to arrive somewhere, but because the horizon is the only destination never reached. There's always more sea. There's always more sky. The Tao is like the sea. All rivers flow to it, yet it never overflows. Jack is river flowing to sea. Jack is sea accepting river. Jack is the movement between the two. Water is fluid, soft, yielding, yet it erodes the rock that cannot resist. Jack is this water. While others learn through the suffering of resistance, Will fighting his heritage, Elizabeth her nature, Barbossa his curse, Jack simply sails, as he always sailed, as he always will sail, because the sea, like the Tao, doesn't negotiate with our plans, but it always offers a path for those who know how not to force. Savvy?